So we're going to make some rosebuds. I do two kinds of rosebuds. One is a standard rosebud and the other one is what I call a mini bud. Now I have these in quite a lot of my bouquets, and so I'm going to put this together as part of the Bouquet Toolkit. So to make the mini buds and the rosebuds, you will need to have my standard set of glues, some wallpaper paste, some PVA glue, some florist tape, some regular sewing thread, some regular kitchen foil, and some coloured paper. You'll also need a pair of scissors, and then we should be good to go. So for each rosebud you will need to make a foil stem. Full instructions on how to make these foil stems is in the Bouquet Toolkit, and I will reference that in the description, in the video description. You'll also need to download my regular template, and for the standard rosebuds I use petal template number 1, and for the mini rosebuds I use petal template number 2. For each of the standard rosebuds you need to cut 5 petals using template number 1, and we'll curl those as we would for an English rose. We'll leave the first one as it is, and the second one we'll roll the petal down on the left hand side, and for the next one along we'll do the same, and for the last two we'll roll them on the right hand side. Flip these petals over so that the curl is facing upwards, and then we'll pop a little bit of wallpaper paste on the 4 with the curl. Using our foil stem and the uncurled petal, we'll do my standard procedure. We'll make a little cone shape. So hold the petal at the centre and the top, roll it in and roll it round so that we've got a nice little cone shape. Inside that cone shape we'll put a little blob of wallpaper paste, and we'll insert our stem, squeeze it at the bottom, and using your sewing thread we'll just bind that in place. Just wrap the thread around 3 or 4 times and then start to roll it and twist it between your fingertips until the thread comes down underneath the petal shape. Now what we'll do is we'll add each of these 4 petals. So with the curl facing upwards here, we will simply line up the base of this new petal to the base of the petal on the stem, give it a squeeze and wrap the thread around 2 or 3 times. The next petal we'll place directly opposite, and as you can see we're already starting to create a lovely little bud shape. And this next petal, sorry I was doing it without thinking there, it's the same process as all my other flowers. We align the centre of the new petal at the base here with the edge of the petal at the base here. Once we've added the last petal, we'll wind the thread around all the way down to the foil, snip it off and add a little bit of wallpaper paste just to hold the thread in place. And there we have a lovely little rosebud. So to make the mini buds you will need to have 1 foil stem, and you'll need to have 3 petals that have been cut from petal template number 2. Now what we'll do is we'll put a blob of wallpaper paste on petals 2 and 3, and we'll make our standard little cone shape with petal number 1. So we'll hold it at the centre at the top, roll it in curl it over on itself to make a little point, and then continue rolling so that we've got a little cone shape. We'll put a blob of wallpaper paste inside the cone shape and insert our foil stem. Push it up as far as you can go and then squeeze the bottom and bind it in place with the sewing thread. Simply wrap it around over itself so it catches, and really tightly just wind the thread down the stem until it reaches the foil. And then with the curl facing upward, we'll take the second petal and place it directly behind, lining up the base of the petals, and you'll see there'll be like a millimetre or so just here. Squeeze, wind 3 or 4 times till you feel it's really secure, and then take the last petal and close up the gap. Wind it around until you feel it's really secure, and then bring it down until it touches the foil. Snip it off. Put some wallpaper paste around and set that aside to dry. So in some of my arrangements, I have the leaf already attached to the rosebuds, and this is really, really simple to do. So once you've prepared your rosebud, all you need to do is take one of your leaves, put a little bit of wallpaper paste on the last 2 centimetres and line it up with the gap on the rosebud, and then just use your regular sewing thread to bind that in place. In exactly the same way as we would bind the petals in place, we'll put a little bit of wallpaper paste around the bottom, and there you have the leaf on the rose.